Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to build a clinic in our Minecrafty town because you never know when you might have an accident. So to start off with, we're going to put the blocks down on the outside of the building. We're just going to mark out the footprint. I've already marked out my footprint. You can get the measurements from the picture at the beginning, but I always like to encourage you to build your buildings to your own specifications, to your own space that you have available, rather than copy exactly what I've done. You can copy exactly what I've done if you want, but you get to use your imagination a lot more if you do something that you've created. Now, for the height of the walls, I've come up my 3 blocks so that I can go around the doors, and then I've popped an extra block on top. Because it's a hospital, you want nice high ceilings. And I'm doing this in white concrete, but you can do it in any block that you like. And for the windows in the consultation rooms, I'm going to put them up quite high because you don't want anyone peeping in. But for the actual hospital ward, I'm going to make the windows nice and big so you get lots and lots of light, and when you're lying in bed you've got something to look at. Hospitals can be really boring. Now this is going to be the waiting room in accident and emergency, so I'm going to take out the blocks around the door and replace them with glass so that we bring some light in, because it's in a corridor. Otherwise it would be very dark. Now I'm going to pop all the panes in. I'm going to use sort of a frosted white glass for the windows, and on the roof I'm going to use waxed copper. Now if the copper wasn't waxed it would turn green. It would oxidise. And you can see the little frog running up and down the walls, making lots of noise. He's really going to annoy the patients, especially if you have a headache. And he's always in the way. Now I'm going to pop an extra block in on top, and then off this block I'm going to use a half block to create the ceiling, a half quartz block, and I'll step up again with the copper half blocks as well. So I'll encircle it with the copper, and then below I'm going to put the half quartz block. There we go. When I get to the doorway for the corridor, I'm going to, because we're going to build walls up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out double thickness where the walls are. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I want to leave a hole in the roof where I can put like a skylight. Here we go, with full glass blocks. And that will bring more light into the corridors. Otherwise they'd be a bit dark and dingy, and that's never a good look in a hospital. I know my little frog. He stays with me all the time, he never leaves the roof. The copper suits him, he blends in. Right, now for the copper. So underneath we've got our white quartz ceiling, and on top we'll cover it with the copper for the roofing. And then there's just one more thing to do after this, and that's to put the big cross in so that we know that it's a hospital, and the blue lights. And then after that we're going to need an aerial station for all the communications. the accident and emergency. So we'll pop that in here. And all you do is you just use some iron fencing and put it in all higgledy-piggledy with a glow rod on top of each corner. And it's very effective. Whoops. There we go. Right, now for the parking. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sort of turning circle. So you come in one gate and go out the other, and then put the parking around the outside. So I'll start off putting the tarmac in, and then I'll put the little yellow stripes in the centre of the road to show you where the actual roadway itself is. And this will be the parking around the outside. And then in the middle I'll write A&E in red writing, in big red writing. You'll see that at the end. We won't put too much parking in because it wouldn't be a hospital if everyone had a place to park. Put the pathways in. And this is the out gate. And this is the in gate, so that there's a sense to the direction. Now for the inside. So you can see it's nice and bright already with that skylight and the big windows. For the reception area, we're going to fill in the floor in white. We're going to do white throughout because that keeps the light high. We don't want to dull it out or anything. Remember, we're going to have to use the half blocks so that we can meet the walls with the ceiling. There's the frog, look, on the skylight. This is our reception, so let's pop a door in there. And then we'll put glass around the outside of the reception area. There we go. And again, we'll use these rods to lighten up. We'll use them as sort of strip lights. Now let's create one of the consultation rooms. Again, we need to use the half blocks to fill in the tops of the walls. The red blocks is where I'm going to put the doorways in. There we go. And again, I'm going to do the floor in white, because there's only a little window in the second consultation room. In this one we've got two windows, but in the other one we've only got the one. And these rods light it up quite nicely. Now for the floor here, I'm going to put these arrows in, because during COVID we had arrows on the floor everywhere telling us what direction to go in case we didn't know. I'm going to use the trapdoors as partitions in the hospital wing. Lots of light again. And to keep this as open as possible, this is our nurses' station. We're using quartz again. I'm going to border it with signposts. I'm going to put quite a lot of these signposts around, because you notice in hospitals you've got these borders on the walls so that you don't bump into them with the beds. I'm going to make our hospital banner. Back in reception, let's put a seat down. Now I'm going to pop these banners in the floor here, but I haven't lit it up, so they will turn black as black seat cushions. So if you notice, it stays that colour, stays that colour, and as soon as there's no light, it goes black. If you want them to remain the colour of the banner, then you have to put a light source underneath. There we go, Doctor Who's consultation room. Let's fit out reception. Plenty of desks. A chair. Put our banners up. A nice flower and a chemistry station. Not forgetting the forms that you have to fill in. There we go. And now for a consultation room. These are all the buttons and the machinery that you have on the walls in these consultation rooms. Not forgetting a bed. Our little cabinetry in the corner. There we go, and our desk for our doctor. We'll have a plant pot and a chemistry station. Pop another banner up. And a chair for our patient. There, that looks good. Now for the hospital wing. We want to keep it as simple as possible, so we'll need a bed. What else will we need? A chair. We'll need an emergency panic button and somewhere to hang the doctor's notes. And we'll put these buffers up again. An emergency ward sign. And off we go. We've had an accident. Let's get to the hospital. Woo, 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 woo. Faster, faster. And we go to A&E. In through the door. Fill in all the forms. Gosh. And now we have to wait for a doctor.
I need a medic, stat!
And the doctor can see us now. This is good A&E. We jump into bed. Stare at the ceiling, which is generally what you do. And now we've got to go and see the nurse. See if Rita's in. We do the same thing. There's our emergency panic buttons. Chemistry station. And we've been sent to hospital. So now we have to go and choose a bed. And it's just a question of, do we want to be in front of the nurse's station? Do we want a view of the car park so we can people watch? Might be quite nice. Or do we want to look out in the countryside? Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please do like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And I hope you all come back soon and have a look at all the other videos that I've got on my channel. Maybe there's something else there that interests you too. And there's our frog, look, he's still here. Thank you again, take care, bye bye.